Aren't you guys getting sick and tired of businesses that pretend to support the Second Amendment, that pretend to stand up for outdoorsmen? They want our money. They want our money. But at the end of the day, they always side with gun grabbers. Guys, we have another store, a big Iowa presence in this store that has come out in the last couple of days and told gun owners, screw you, screw off, pound sand. We're covering that in today's video, guys. Aaron Dorr here with Iowa Gun Owners. Wherever you're watching from, guys, let us know. As always, I see my good friend Jennifer. I see Colby, Julia, Alex, Brad, Scott, James. Julia, as to your question, I guess I don't know. I thought it was the one. Maybe it was the other one. I guess we'll find out. Guys, we've all watched what happened to Dick's, right? A bunch of dumb dicks at Dick's Sporting Goods have begun to run that chain into the ground because after the Parkland shooting, they come out and do what? They attack the Second Amendment and they indirectly attack us. And they say, no more, modern firearms, no more AR-15s. Screw you guys. Now, what happened to Dick's? Well, like a freight train, it rolled right off the tracks, and we're very happy to hear about that. But now we have this new letter that's come out. The date on this, I think it's like 2 days ago. I saw this on, and it's been confirmed now, we saw this on one of the gun control pages in Minnesota that first published this. But now we have this letter from Fleet Farm. Who all loves Fleet Farm? I mean, you could spend your entire retirement in Fleet Farm in about an hour. It's a great store. In fact, they're building one right now between where I live in Van Meter, Iowa, and West Des Moines. It's right on the side of the road. It's massive. I was so looking forward to going in there when it opens up in December. And now we have this letter from Frank, I think it's Steves, Executive Vice President, Fleet Farm Services. And this letter is going to make your blood boil. And here we have another anti-gun, corporation who wants your money, but caves in, cows into the radical left. Here's this letter. It says, we hear from many people on both sides of the assault-style semi-automatic firearm debate. All are passionate in their arguments that transcend constitutional questions. What does that mean? And focus on what's best for society, what is right according to their religious tenets, and what is best for their families. We have seen these arguments presented on both sides forcefully. Fleet Farm, now, of course, here comes the first part. You always know they have to pretend to be pro-gun. Fleet Farm has always been a strong Second Amendment company. But this is like a politician, right? I'm pro-gun, but here we go. But at the same time, we've always taken guns seriously. We've always refused to even carry legal devices like bump stocks or lower receivers. Let me skip through some of this here. We've always been very careful with background checks, blah, 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 blah. And so now they say, but the occurrence of mass shootings has provoked an internal discussion about whether we should carry assault-style rifles. In the end, though, our customers made the decision for us. We have seen sharp reductions in customer demand for this style of rifle. And now we are phasing them out from our product lineup. We are phasing them out of our product lineup. In the near future, you will no longer see them in our stores. All the best. Fleet Farm Services. Fleet Farm, whatever you want to call it. So, guys, that's it. They're done. Cheryl says they're building one right now in Cedar Rapids. Cheryl, they're building one everywhere right now in Iowa. They're all over the place, exploding right now in Iowa. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. And so here we go. Here we go. It's one more company that wants to take your money, but they want to sit there and side with the radical left. It's over and over and over. Like Julia says, aren't you forgetting your agricultural base, your customer base, that we get kind of ticked off when you mess with our firearms? This place, as David says, he will never darken their door. They are going to go the way of Dick's, and mark my words. And here's the good news about all this to me. I mean, here's the great news. So I hit on Google before I did this video. the most recent financials for Dick's. This is as of the end of Q1 for 2019, so it's a little bit old. And this report is showing the year-end sales from fourth quarter last year. And so Dick's, after they stood up and just attacked gun owners, they lost their previous quarter. Adjusted same store sales were down 2.2%, which is a huge deal for a corporation trying to hold on. Net income for Dick's fell, let's see here, $14.5 million in the final quarter of 2018, or $1.11 per share on the same year-over-year time frame. So when Fleet Farm tries to say that all of a sudden apparently gun owners stopped trying to buy guns, obviously that's BS, because when Dick's attacked gun owners, they got their clock cleaned by the Second Amendment, by gun owners like us. And it's going to, same thing has to happen here now. Like Ben, my brother, says, you won't see those guns in their stores anymore. You'll no longer see me in their store anymore. If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. I mean, I'm just simply not interested in giving money to my political opponents, because, you know, if they're going this direction now, you know what's going to happen. They're probably going to double down, and in a couple more months, you'll see the end of, who knows, handgun sales, or maybe it's, magazines over 10 rounds. I mean, once these idiots go down this path, they don't come back. They don't come back. All they're going to do is support bad candidates with their PAC money. If they use PAC money, they're supporting a horrible agenda, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. There's one line here I want to read again. It's just absolutely insulting to me. Let's see. Yeah, they're so proud to hear from the gun grabbers whose arguments often transcend constitutional questions and focus on what is best for society. Right, because for you people, the hundreds who are watching right now, if you care about your Second Amendment rights, well, you're just a dirty, knuckle-dragging redneck who wants to keep your family safe. But see, when you're a gun grabber and you approach Fleet Farm in this case and ask them to take guns out of their store, well, now you are an enlightened soul, and your arguments can transcend constitutional questions. You know, and that's how these people always are. The most arrogant, holier than thou, just bastards. And I'm sick of it. And I'm not going to spend any money in their store. I'm not going to do it. I'm sorry. You know, this is, again, signed by Frank Steves, Executive VP, Fleet Farm Group, out of headquarters in Wisconsin. I'm sorry, Frank, but I'm going to trust our forefathers more than I'm going to trust your corporate stupidity about what's most important. And I'm sorry, but, the idea of having a disarmed population is a real concern. And so if your store doesn't want to sell any more firearms to gun owners, that's fine. We're free marketeers. We're fine. You may certainly decide to stop selling them, but in so doing, we'll make sure we do everything we can in Iowa, at least. And I know we're going to have the same thing happen with our sister organization in Minnesota, doing everything we can to educate every gun owner we can to make sure everybody knows that I almost said Dick's. It's the same thing. That Dick's and Fleet Farm have now made it clear that you stand up with the radical leftists who want to disarm us and disarm this country. And if you believe for a second that we're going to buy a firearm there, you're absolutely nuts. Dean says, anybody who would buy a gun from Fleet Farm must have money coming out of their ears. I can always buy the same or similar guns for $100 cheaper somewhere else. Oh, yeah, there's all kinds of places. All kinds of places you can go at that kind of stuff. That place went to hell when the corporation bought it out years ago, says Jennifer. Yeah, absolutely. We are all sick of the socialist communist parties, says Linda. And we're just sick and tired of people who support this agenda. Like, what is it about an outdoors store? What is it about a store that caters to farmers, to gun owners, to outdoorsmen? What the heck is wrong with you when you're going to sit there and now attack us? You're going to attack us. How about you do a press release and say, Fleet Farm, you know what I'm going to do? This is my favorite thing lately. We told Senator Ernst what she should say about gun violence, right? We told Governor Reynolds what she should say when it comes to try her support for, for gun control. I'm going to do a favor to Fleet Farm, to your VP of customer retention, if you've got one. Clearly you don't. I'm going to tell you what you should say, Fleet Farm. So when gun grabbers try to muscle you and dox your organization and urge you to support gun control, here's what you should say. You should, first of all, you could say nothing. You could say, you know what? We don't do politics. We're a for-profit company. We don't give a crap what you think. But if you're not going to say that, you should say, I'll take a little quote from their article here. Fleet Farm has always been a strong Second Amendment company. But don't say but and then go off and attack us. Then you should say, and so while we grieve with the rest of America with the recent mass shootings in Dayton, Ohio, and El Paso, Texas, we also know what the authorities have already made clear, that these shootings, like almost every other shooting, took place in an area that was deemed off limits to gun owners. The El Paso shooting was in a gun-free zone. So number one, we know that gun-free zones are a joke. The Ohio shooter, they could say, this is again, Fleet Farm, rather, take note. This is your press statement, which you should say. The Ohio shooter, number two, he passed a background check. The much vaunted universal background checks didn't stop him, didn't stop anybody, didn't stop any crime. And so what we know at Fleet Farm is that all this gun control fails. And so while we grieve with the families of those who've been lost, we know that the best way for us as a company and for this country as a whole to stop violent criminals is to put more guns in the hands of law-abiding citizens. And that's why here at Fleet Farm, we're going to have a 10% off sale on every handgun for the next 30 days. That's what you should say, Fleet. And if you did that, you'd make a boatload and you'd have a lot of support amongst the gun owners crowd. If you guys agree that my impromptu presser, that's the way it should go, give me a thumbs up. Just stand up for your customers. I mean, it's not hard. Just stand up for your customers. Just stand up for gun rights, for the Constitution. I mean, if you're going to make a stand in the political arena when it comes to guns, maybe you should stand up with your inherent customer base and not piss in our face and tell us that it's raining. What a bunch of idiots. What a bunch of idiots. And so this is their agenda going forward. The anti-gunners, this is how they roll. They're going to go from Dick's to Fleet Farm and on it goes, all these stores. And guys, before it's all said and done, if they have their way, there'll be no corporate gun sales left. And you know what? This is all part of their large-scale attack on our gun rights, on our freedom. But we can't just sit back. We can't just, Daniel says El Paso wasn't a gun-free zone. It was, Daniel. The Walmart in El Paso was attached to a shopping mall, and that mall was a gun-free zone. So that was that Walmart, because of its attachment to the mall, was a gun-free zone. So that's the deal. Lots of folks who are asking, what are we talking about here? What's the press release? We're discussing this big piece from Fleet Farm. The ones that pretend to be all for outdoorsmen and farmers and ranchers and gun owners, outdoor enthusiasts. Yeah, Fleet Farm has now come out and said they're not going to sell any more AR-15 style firearms in the future. That's what they're going to do. That's what they're saying right now. Theron says we can all sit here and whine and cry. If we don't go to Washington and show our strength, we can cry all we want on Facebook. If we don't march, we're going to be placed in a socialist society with no guns. Theron, we're not whining and crying here on Facebook. We have action items almost every single video we do. We use this methodology. We use these videos to pour thousands of emails into the inboxes of whether it's President Trump, U.S. senators, congressional leaders, and state house leaders during session. So I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be mean, Theron, but watch the tone. We're not whining on Facebook. We're activating people and giving gun owners what they need to take action and fight for their gun rights themselves. Read some of the comments here. Lots of folks who are watching right now. So this just continues on and on and on. on and on and on. One more corporation. They want your money. They want your money, but they do not want to support your gun rights. And so I would encourage you guys to put this video on your page, tag all of your friends who you know spend money at Fleet Farm, and say you need to know that they've just sided with the radical left. And take a moment to, and you know what? I'm just going to do this right now. Frank Steves, the executive VP who published this, his phone number, and it's right here in his letterhead, 920, sorry, it's on my split screen, 997-1411. That's his direct phone number, 920-997-1411. I'll try and post that here. But if you guys want to give him a call, just let him know this is Frank Steves, executive VP, Fleet Farm Group. He's the guy who's in charge of this decision. Give him a call and let him know, hey, you know what, bro? It's your right to not sell firearms. We're not gonna, we're on the conservative side. We support the free market. If you want to sell guns, that's fine. But you should know that once you've entered the political arena and made a decision to support gun control, we're gone. We're gone. We'll spend our money anywhere else. Anywhere else. Stuart Griffin, my good friend, just gave the phone number. I'll pin that to the top of this. Thank you, Stuart. It's 920-997-1411. Just talk to him. Ask for Frank Steves and say, you know, buddy, we've seen your recent post on all the gun control groups in Minnesota praising you for deciding to withdraw all AR-15 style firearms from your stores. And I want to let you know as a customer that, you know what? You got your last dime from me. You got your last dime from me. And folks, these things are being built right now all over Iowa. I mean, they're all over. Like I said, there's one right now being built on I-80 between my house and Van Meter and West Des Moines. They're everywhere. There's one being built right now, a brand new one being built right now in Cedar Rapids. I'm trying to find their store locator to find all the different ones, because there are a lot of stores in Iowa. There's one in Sioux City. I know that. We got Cedar Falls. I can see Cedar Falls on here. We got Waterloo. They've got one. We've got, where else? There's a lot of these across the states right now. So they're being built in a lot of spots right now, guys. But just give them a call. Your local store, ask for the manager. That's fine. Or you can call the national chain, you know, and say, hey, you know, we're done. We're done. If you're not going to stand with us, we're not going to stand with you. Elroy says they're not saying they don't want to sell guns, just not the AR. Elroy, I know that. So we just said, but here's the thing. What happens then is like Dick's right now. Dick's is going to move now. They're currently trying to phase out all firearms in their stores. And, you know, again, they have the right to do that, but just we're going to make sure they damn well know that if you're going to sit there and attack our freedoms by taking the side of the radical left, you can do that, but not with our money. Not with our money. There's one in Mason City, I've just found out, from Doug and from Heath. Appreciate that, guys. So they're popping up all over the place, and we're not going to support it. We're not going to support it. Heath says, my worry is that all law-abiding gun owners, their registered guns, will be the first ones to be taken away. Yeah, I mean, that's why you want to always try to pursue private transactions. Private sales. That's why we hate universal background checks so much. That's why we hate government lists of gun owners so much. That's why we're so opposed to universal background checks. My wife always calls. Hang on, guys, 1 second. She always calls in these videos. I'm going live. Can I give you a call back? All right, bye. Cool. As long as no one's bleeding at home, I'll give her a call back. So we totally oppose these universal background checks because, you know what? We're never going to sit there and make it easier for these people to take away our freedom. So your point is exactly right. Patty says, is this Farm and Fleet? No, we're talking about Fleet Farms. I believe that's something different. There's a lot of these farm and outdoor stores. So this is Fleet Farm. One in Ankeny, one being built right now by West Des Moines. They're all over the country, or all over the Midwest anyway. And yeah, they just screw us over every time. Patty says, Aaron, you should have your wife on sometime. Patty, I'm not sure she'd ever go for that. So I think it'd be hilarious, but I'm not sure she's going to want to do that. So Matthew says, really, Fleet Farm? This freaking makes my blood boil. Jennifer says to Daniel, false, dude, try again. Yeah. Daniel, I think we have an out-and-out gun control activist here. Daniel says the majority of Americans support UBCs. Daniel, sure, if you pull a Moms Demand Action organization, sure. The majority of leftists support gun control. That's not what we're looking at. The polling data, he says, polling data, my ass. These polls are written in such a way as to get the predetermined response, and they call the people they want to call to get their predetermined response. If you polled an average number of Iowa gun owners members, you'd find that 99.999% oppose all of that. Are you going to call that an objective poll? No. If we poll our people, 100% opposed to gun control. And so when Bloomberg polls his people, shockingly, they're 100% support of gun control. What a joke. Daniel says, I'm rational. Okay. Well, where are you from, buddy? I'm trying to find out in your Facebook profile where you're from. I can't tell. I don't know. Weird. And Dan says the same polling groups that predicted Hillary winning in a landslide. Yeah, we all know what a joke polling data is. And I don't care. I'll say this to you, Daniel. I don't care if the polls were 100% in support of gun control. I am a free American. I love my freedom. I love the Second Amendment. I love my gun rights. And I will always oppose gun control. I don't care if I'm the last person on earth that thinks this way. Our forefathers fought and died to give us this right. And so I don't derive my sense of right and wrong from a poll on MSNBC. I derive my sense of right and wrong from my principles. So I don't care about your polling data. I don't care. Do you guys agree? Give me a thumbs up. We're never going to give up. We're never going to give in. We're always going to oppose the lawmakers who support this crap. They're going to pay a price at election time. Daniel says, if UBCs prevent just one shooting, then it's worth it. Okay, Daniel. All right, I'll play your game, bro. So how many women do you want to see? How many women is it okay to have them be raped because a gun control bill or a gun control law interfered with their ability to carry a firearm? How many people are you okay with being murdered because of the effects of gun control? Your logic is so stupid. If pro-gun laws save just one life, and we all know they do, then by God, we should repeal all the gun control laws immediately. If you're too stupid to realize that, then I can't help you. But while we're talking about this, let's talk about the failure of background checks, Daniel. Give me just one moment here. Let me read you some numbers here, and you tell me how effective your background check laws have been, because I can prove to you that they're an absolute joke. They're almost every single mass shooter in the last decade first passed a background check. Check out this list. The November 5, 2009 shooting in Fort Hood, Texas, guy passed a background check. The guy who shot Congresswoman Giffords, January 8, 2011, Tucson, Arizona, that guy passed a background check. The Aurora, Colorado theater shooting, July 20, 2012, 12 dead, dude passed a background check. August 5, 2012, the Oak Creek, Wisconsin church shooting, dude passed a background check. September 16, 2013, the Washington Navy Yard shooting, dude passed a background check. The April 2014 Fort Hood shooting, that Islamic terrorist, Major Hassan, dude passed a background check and had a security clearance, for heaven's sakes. Was that 6 or 7? I lost track. The Charleston shooting, June 17, 2015, 9 dead in that church, that gun-free zone. Dude passed a background check. October 2015, the Roseburg, Oregon college shooting. Dude passed a background check. December 2015, husband and wife terror team, San Bernardino, California, they passed a background check. The Orlando nightclub shooting, another Islamic terrorist, by the way, who killed 48 people. Dude passed a background check, a concealed carry permit process, and a 3-day waiting period. Didn't stop shit. The October 2017 Las Vegas shooting, Dude passed a background check. The November 2017 Sutherland Springs shooting. Dude passed a background check. The Dayton, Ohio shooting from 3 weeks ago. Dude passed a background check. How much more must I say, dude? You're an idiot if you believe that background checks will stop violent crime. This is ridiculous. They don't stop violent crime. Daniel says, you're making the argument for me, bro. Daniel, you're an idiot. I just showed you these all happened after the shooters went through your magical background checks. So if your background checks would do anything, they should have stopped these shooters. Daniel, if you can't realize the common sense here, then, dude, you're baked, man. You're baked. Jennifer says, and don't forget, in the early 60s, there were no background checks and there were no mass shootings. The problem we have is not the laws. The problem we have is that we have evil people. There's evil in their hearts. There's evil in their brain. And you can't stop that. You can't stop that with gun control. It's not going to happen. Daniel says, okay, well, our background checks need to be more detailed. So, Daniel, does that mean you just conceded these background checks are a joke and they haven't stopped any crime? So when you say more detailed, what that usually sounds like is a mental health screening before you can buy a firearm or something like that. I mean, where does this end? This ends in a socialist country where all the good people, all the law-abiding citizens are disarmed, helpless, unable to fight back because the government has the firearms. And I will be damned if I'm going to sit here voluntarily and let that happen. We're going to fight here at Iowa Gun Owners as hard as we possibly can, no matter what, to make sure we stop this from happening in this great state and in this great country. If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up, because these people will never quit. They'll never quit trying to pass more gun control. They're not going to pass this. They're not going to pass this and then suddenly just say, okay, we're done trying to take away your guns. This is a life and death worldview battle for these people. And you know what? It is for us too. It is for us too. But thanks for trying. I appreciate the dialogue there, Daniel. You're just wrong. That's all. And we're not going to quit. Never going to quit. Never going to quit. So, guys, if you haven't yet joined Iowa Gun Owners, it's joinigo.com. That is the link to go to, joinigo.com. Get there, get involved in this fight. We talked last week a lot about Republican Governor Kim Reynolds, who says that we're looking at everything, including red flags next session when it comes to stopping violent crime. We talked about how Republicans like Charles Grassley are now backing red flag laws, and we know that those two facts, 1 + 1 = Republican lawmakers who will be looking to sell us out next session. And we have to fight every step of the way. We have to fight every inch of the way, says Carrie Morales. So, guys, that's where we are. We have to fight. We have to fight hard. Get involved, guys. JoinIGO.com. Patty says criminals will always get their hands on guns or make bombs or set fires or stab people. On and on it goes. I mean, it's just absurd to believe you could stop these people with gun control. It's never worked. Never worked. It was the St. Cloud, Minnesota, just a year and a half ago. Dude walks in there with a knife, stabs 9 people before a good guy with a firearm killed him. You know, this is just never going to end. Daniel says, you're right, guys. Daniel, you're hilarious, bro. He says, since criminals will just always commit murder, let's just legalize and unregulate murder. Daniel, I know that we're straining the bounds of your limited capacity to reason, but you're just totally missed the point. The point isn't that we deregulate crime. The point is that you can still pass all of the laws you want, but criminals will disobey them. And there's a really secret reason why. So strap on and hang on tight, Daniel. It's because they're criminals. That's the whole point. Duh. The only people who follow the law are the good guys. The people who are watching this broadcast right now. It's the criminals who disobey. It's the law abiding who follow the law. So if we follow your silly laws all that's going to happen is the entire nation will be disarmed as far as the law abiding go, and we're going to be ruled by thugs and madmen who disobey the gun control laws. How do you not see this? Insane. Heath says Daniel is clearly off his meds. Maybe it is. I don't know. But there's no question that Fleet Farm is off their meds. If you're getting tuned in late, guys, this is the big story here today, is that Fleet Farm, and they're all over Iowa and Minnesota and the Midwest in general, Fleet Farm has now come out and said that they're going to take away the sales of all AR-15s from their stores very, very shortly. No more AR-15s, no more similar style semi-automatic firearms. And people ask, well, what's the big deal? I mean, there's lots of guns out there. You don't need to have an AR-15. You can find more firearms. Well, that's true. But you know what? I mean, it's the best gun out there when it comes to stopping criminals and tyrants alike. And you know what? You know, that's the bottom line. This organization, we love hunting. We love supporting hunters. Got to kill this call a second once. But at the end of the day, our gun rights are about more than hunting. They are about the Second Amendment, which is about stopping tyrants. Tyrants. That's what our guns are for, not rabbit hunting. And when it comes to stopping tyrants, there is nothing better. There is nothing better than an AR-15. That's it. Let's see. Daniel comes back and says, you guys are way too dismissive. Okay. If you hear another point, you're going to dismiss my point. I've said before, I won guns. I like guns, but I'm also a logical person. Well, Daniel, there's lots of people who were in the loyalist camp back in the 1700s who said, I'm a patriot. I support America, but you have to be logical and you have to support the crown. So, dude, this is not that kind of organization. We're not here. We're not here to find ways to make deals. We're not here to appeal to gun grabbers' common sense rationale. This is a war. These people want us disarmed. That's it. They want us disarmed. That's it. And we're not going to give in. We're never going to give up. Ryan says, Fleet Farm is done with me. Grow a pair. Who do you think your customer base is? Absolutely. Absolutely. Again, guys, if you want to talk to their VP who wrote this press release, his name is Frank Steeves, S-T-E-E-V-E-S, Frank Steeves. He's the VP, doesn't say of what division, probably sales or retention, whatever. His phone number is 920-997-1411. That's his direct phone number. If you want to give him a call and tell him, hey, saw your press release. It's on the all the gun grabbers websites right now in Minnesota. Saw your press release, and Tom Nichols, who got on just now, a brief recap. Fleet Farm is now going to end the sale of all AR-15 style firearms effective very shortly. And so if you got, let them know, hey, it's your decision to attack my gun rights, to side with the left by not selling firearms like this anymore. But by goodness gracious, I, as a gun owner, will never spend my money in your store. There's lots of places to go. There's a big old Shields in Sioux City. God knows I've spent way too much of my cash when I was younger buying handguns and Shields. There's a big old Shields in West Des Moines. And even better, there's tons of little gun shops all across this great state. All across this great state. I use Jim Hirschberg a lot up in Lowerville for my purchases. There's all kinds of places to go. We don't need Fleet Farm. Their prices suck anyway. And folks, make sure they hear from you guys right away. And if you haven't yet done so, guys, go to joinigo.com to join up today. Joinigo.com. Get involved in this fight today. It's going to be a big one next session. We need everybody involved in this. And share this video on your page and make sure that you tag all of your friends in this so they know where to not spend their money. That's all I have time for right now, guys. Catch you guys later. Have a great day. Take care and stay safe.